And now to a growing mystery, the death of an American lifestyle influencer, Ashlee Robinson, better known online as Ashlee Jenae. Now, she had been on what seemed to be a dream vacation to Zanzibar, celebrating her birthday and saying yes when her boyfriend popped the question. But within a few days, she was dead.
Her fiancé is now being held in Zanzibar by investigators trying to figure out what happened. CBS Weekend News anchor Jerika Duncan spoke with the family and has new details. Jerika.
Yeah, good evening, Tony. Ashlee Robinson was on the vacation of a lifetime. She was in Zanzibar, which is off the coast of Tanzania. She was there celebrating her 31st birthday. Her boyfriend of about a year and a half, Joe McCann, proposed to her on the trip, but last week something went terribly wrong. Police say Robinson was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to the hospital where she later died.
And now the details on the investigation into the death of Ashlee Robinson. Her family is demanding answers after the influencer from South Jersey was found dead during a trip to Africa where she had just been engaged.
Today we spoke to her family in Delaware who say they aren't getting answers from her fiancé or officials in Tanzania about what happened to her.
Uncertainty, mystery, anger, sadness. It's like a part of me has been taken away.
Imagine getting the call that your daughter is in a hospital on the other side of the world. Imagine being told she was rushed there 11 hours ago. 11 hours. And the person who was supposed to love her more than anyone else in the world waited 11 hours before picking up the phone. Now imagine that the next call you receive is not from that person at all. It is from the hotel. Because the man who just put a ring on your daughter's finger decided to go silent. That is where this story begins. And I promise you, it only gets more disturbing from here. Welcome back. If you are new here, please subscribe right now, because we cover cases like this one that the mainstream media moves on from too quickly. Today we're talking about Ashlee Jenae, a name that should be on everyone's lips. A 31-year-old woman who was glowing with life just weeks ago. A content creator, a daughter, a woman who finally found love, or so she believed. And now she is gone. And the man who was supposed to protect her is silent. His social media is locked. His whereabouts are unclear. And her engagement ring has gone missing along with everything else. Stay with me, because this story has layers that will leave you stunned. Let's start from the beginning, because you need to feel this fully to understand why so many people are angry and why this case is not going away. Ashlee Jenae, whose real legal name was Ashlee Robinson, was not just another internet personality. She was a vibrant lifestyle and travel content creator who had built a following of over 100,000 people across her social media platforms. She shared her life openly. Her joy was contagious. She was the kind of person you followed not just for the content, but because she made you feel like life was worth celebrating. And she had every reason to celebrate. On April 3rd of this year, Ashlee traveled to Tanzania with the man in her life. His name is Joseph Isaac McCann. Joe McCann. A 45-year-old man who runs an investment company. The trip was supposed to be a dream come true. A birthday trip, combined with adventure in one of the most breathtaking places on earth. April 5th was Ashlee's 31st birthday. And on that day, she posted what would become one of her final Instagram posts. She is standing there in Tanzania feeding a giraffe. Rose petals on the ground spelling out, HBD Ashlee. She captioned it, Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be. Read that again. Exactly where I need to be. A woman who believed she was in the right place with the right person at the right time. A woman who had no idea what was coming. And 2 days before her birthday, on April 3rd, Joe McCann proposed to her. He got down on one knee. She said yes. She was engaged. She was happy. She was in love. Or at least she believed she was. That ring became a symbol of everything this trip was supposed to be. And right now that ring is missing. We'll get to that. Now here is where the story shifts. And I need you to pay attention because every detail from this point forward matters. According to police and witness accounts, the couple arrived at the Zuri Zanzibar resort on April 4th. A luxury property. The kind of place that should feel like paradise. But something was very wrong from the moment they arrived. Witnesses confirmed that Joe McCann and Ashlee were quarreling frequently. Not just once. Not just a small disagreement. Frequently. From the time they arrived on April 4th all the way until April 8th. 4 days of conflict in what was supposed to be a celebration of love and life. Think about that. For days. and nobody stepped in until it was too late.
We believe that they were in love. We believe that their relationship was genuine.
Developing growing questions tonight surrounding the death of a lifestyle influencer from New Jersey found dead while on vacation in Zanzibar just days after her engagement. And Shayna, the family is desperate for answers, understandably here.
Yeah, absolutely. Ashlee Robinson, known as Ashlee Jenae on Instagram, was just on a 31st birthday trip with her boyfriend turned fiance. And of course, by all accounts, it was a beautiful fairy tale that quickly turned into a nightmare. Initial reports claiming that the influencer took her own life, which is something the family simply says couldn't be true when they're looking for answers.
On the night of April 8th, the arguments escalated to the point where hotel management could no longer ignore it. Staff intervened. They separated the couple. They asked Joe McCann to move to a separate villa approximately a 10-minute walk away from Ashlee. 10 minutes away. Not across town. Not across the country. 10 minutes. And yet what happened next will make you question everything. A few hours after McCann was moved to that separate villa, a hotel worker found Ashlee Robinson unresponsive. She was found in a closet with a belt around her neck. She was rushed to the hospital. And on April 9th, Ashlee Jenae died. She was 31 years old. She had been engaged for less than a week. This is where things get serious. Now, before we go any further, I want you to think about something. And I want you to really sit with this question. Because it is the question that Ashlee's family cannot stop asking. If you were at a hotel 10 minutes away from the woman you just proposed to, the woman you love, the woman you just gave a ring to, and something happened to her that required hotel staff to respond, would you not be the first person there? Would you not be calling her family immediately? Would you not be doing everything in your power to get to her? Joe McCann did not call Ashlee's family immediately. According to her mother, Yolanda Endres, when McCann finally did reach out, he called to say Ashlee was in the hospital. And when her mother asked when it happened, McCann told her the incident had occurred 11 hours before he was making that call. 11 hours. Her daughter was in a hospital thousands of miles away, and the person who was with her waited 11 hours before saying a word. Ashlee's father, Harry Robinson, put it plainly when he spoke to the press. He said the fiancé did not reach out to them at all when Ashlee died. They did not get that call from Joe McCann. They found out from the hotel. The hotel called them, not the man who proposed to their daughter days earlier. The hotel. Harry Robinson said it best. That's devastating when your daughter's halfway around the world. We just wanted to know where she was at, who she was with, and that she was okay. Just give us something. Just give us something. Those words hit different when you understand that after that initial hospital call, Joe McCann went effectively silent. The family says they have had little to no contact with him since Ashlee's death. And he has not made a single public statement. Not one word to the public. Not one statement of grief. Not one message of condolence that the family or the public has seen. Nothing. If you have any thoughts on that, please drop them in the comments below. Because the silence is deafening. Now here comes one of the most crucial and most disturbing pieces of this case. And this is the part that has sent the internet into overdrive. Zanzibar authorities held a press conference and made an official statement. They said Ashlee Jenae died by suicide. They said she allegedly hanged herself inside her room after hotel staff had already separated her from McCann. The North Ongwaja Regional Police Commander made that statement publicly, but Ashlee's family has rejected that theory completely and without hesitation. Her parents described her as full of life. They said she was a beacon of light. They told outlets she showed absolutely no signs of wanting to harm herself. Her mother said they were in a gorgeous place in Africa and that Ashlee appeared happy in the days leading up to what happened. Her father said simply, nothing about it makes sense. It just doesn't add up. And here is what makes this even more complicated. A local Tanzanian outlet obtained records from the medical facility where Ashlee was taken. Those records listed her immediate cause of death as cerebral hypoxia due to strangulation and suffocation. Not hanging. Strangulation and suffocation. Now those findings have not been independently verified and official autopsy results have still not been publicly released. But that distinction matters. Because there is a difference between the official narrative and what those medical records reportedly showed. And that difference is significant enough that this family is not accepting the official story. Stay with me, because we are not done. Let's talk about the autopsy. Because this is where the agonizing limbo begins. A Tanzanian autopsy was completed on April 14th, 5 days after Ashlee's death. Harry Robinson, her father, actually traveled to Washington, D.C. to personally press United States government officials for help reaching Tanzanian authorities. He flew to the capital of his own country to beg for answers about his daughter's death on foreign soil. And those efforts did result in some contact being made. But here is the devastating part. After all of that, the family was told only that the autopsy was complete and that the investigation remains ongoing. They still have not received the full results. The autopsy is done. The results exist. And this family is sitting in New Jersey planning a funeral without knowing what killed their daughter. Let that sink in. Because of this, the family made the decision to pursue an independent autopsy on their own. They are not waiting for answers they may never receive. They are going to find them themselves. Those independent autopsy results are still pending as of this update. And then there is the question of the body. Ashlee's remains were eventually returned to her family in New Jersey. Her father confirmed that. But when her body came home, something was missing. Her engagement ring was not there. None of her personal belongings came back with her. The ring that Joe McCann placed on her finger just days before she died. Gone. Her father, Harry Robinson, told reporters he does not even know for certain where his daughter's belongings are. He believes investigators may still be holding them as part of the ongoing investigation. But he has not been told officially when or if those items will ever be returned. That engagement ring, the one that was supposed to represent a new chapter, the one she was so proud of, the one that was supposed to mean forever. It is gone, just like she is. If you are watching this right now and you feel something in your chest, please share this video. Because Ashlee's story deserves to be heard. This family deserves to be heard. Now let's talk about Joe McCann, because we cannot tell the story without addressing him directly. Joseph Isaac McCann is 45 years old. He is 14 years older than Ashlee. He founded an investment company. He was the man who took Ashlee to Tanzania for her birthday. He was the man who proposed to her. And he is the man who hotel witnesses say was arguing with her repeatedly for 4 consecutive days at a luxury resort. After Ashlee's death, McCann's passport was confiscated by Tanzanian authorities. He was questioned by police. He was held in Zanzibar while the investigation was underway. Authorities initially said he was not suspected of wrongdoing. They later said there was currently no basis for criminal charges. But here is what has raised eyebrows across the internet. McCann made his social media profiles private. He updated his profile picture. And he has not spoken a single word publicly about the woman he proposed to just days before her death. His whereabouts right now are unclear. It is not even certain whether he is still in Tanzania or whether he has returned to the United States. Ask yourself this. If you lost your fiancé under these circumstances, if the woman you loved died tragically while traveling with you, would you go silent? Would you lock your social media? Would you let her family find out she died from a hotel rather than from you? Would you say absolutely nothing to the public? Nothing to her followers who are asking questions? Nothing to her parents who are desperate for answers? I am not saying Joe McCann is guilty of anything. I want to be very clear about that. The investigation is ongoing, and no charges have been filed. But the behavior, the silence, the locked accounts, the 11-hour delay, the communication that stopped, these are the things that Ashlee's family is sitting with every single day. And they deserve answers. Every single one of them. Let's talk about what the surveillance footage could tell us. The Zuri Zanzibar is a luxury resort. These places have cameras. They have security footage. They document everything. Ashlee's family has been actively trying to obtain the surveillance footage from the hotel. Her father specifically mentioned that the cameras at the resort should match the timeline of events. His words were direct. There's cameras everywhere at a resort, and that will match the timeline. Just do the investigation and let us know. The hotel has stated it is fully cooperating with local authorities and the U.S. Embassy in Tanzania. But as of the latest updates, that footage has not been made publicly available. The family has not confirmed receiving it. And without that footage, there are hours of that night that remain completely unaccounted for. What happened in those hours between when McCann was moved to his separate villa and when the hotel worker found Ashlee? What do those cameras show? What do the timestamps tell us? Who came and went? These questions are not just curiosity. They are the foundation of this entire investigation. And right now we do not have those answers. This is where things get serious. Because without that footage, the timeline of the night of April 8th into April 9th is largely defined by what authorities in Zanzibar have chosen to share. And the family of Ashlee Jenae does not fully trust that narrative. Now I want to talk about the internet response to this case because it has been extraordinary. The moment news of Ashlee's death went public, her followers and the broader online community mobilized. People began calling out inconsistencies in the official account. They began raising questions about McCann's silence. They created pressure around the case that made it impossible to ignore. Her close friend Savannah Britt has been one of the most vocal voices keeping the story alive on social media. She has pushed back on misinformation and made sure that only verified information reaches the public. Savannah confirmed that because the investigation is ongoing, Ashlee's parents and close circle are not giving interviews at this time. But they are watching, and they are not letting this disappear. A GoFundMe campaign was launched on April 14th to help Ashlee's family cover travel, funeral, and other expenses. As of the latest reporting, that campaign has raised over $63,000. The original goal was $50,000. The community surrounding this case blew past that number. The money will support both of Ashlee's parents, Harry Robinson and Yolanda Denise Endres. That level of support from strangers speaks to how deeply this case has affected people. How deeply Ashlee affected people. Even in death, she is bringing people together. The State Department confirmed it is monitoring this case. That is not a small thing. When the United States government is keeping an eye on how a foreign country is investigating the death of an American citizen, it means this case has reached a level of official attention that cannot be easily dismissed or buried. But attention without answers is not justice. Let's go back to that last Instagram post. Because it haunts me. April 5th, her birthday. She is in Tanzania. She is feeding a giraffe. There are rose petals on the ground spelling out her name in celebration. She is smiling. She is happy. She is living in a moment that most of us only dream about. And she writes, Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be. She believed that. She felt that. And then 4 days later she was gone. That post has become something of a memorial in itself. Her followers have flooded the comments. They write her name. They say they miss her. They demand justice. They share the post. They keep her alive in the only way they can right now. Because she left behind over 100,000 people who followed her journey and who now find themselves unable to look away from its devastating end. Her parents said it the most beautifully and the most painfully when they released a statement to the press. They said one moment she was celebrating love and life in true Ashlee fashion, and the next she was gone. And then they said the words that define everything about this case. They said the unanswered questions surrounding what happened have made the loss even more difficult. That is the piece that cuts deepest. It is not just that Ashlee is gone. It is that her family does not know why, or how, or what truly happened in that resort on the island of Zanzibar. They are grieving without closure. They are planning a funeral without full answers. They are looking at an engagement ring that is missing and wondering what it means. Subscribe if you are not already, because we are going to keep following this case as it develops. Let me lay out for you the key mysteries that remain unresolved, because every single one of these points deserves your attention. First, what do the official autopsy results actually say? The Tanzanian autopsy was completed April 14th. We are now weeks past that date. The results have not been released. The family has not received them. Why? What is in those results that requires this much time and silence? Second, what does the medical record really mean? A local Tanzanian outlet obtained records that listed Ashlee's immediate cause of death as cerebral hypoxia due to strangulation and suffocation. That has not been independently verified. But if accurate, it tells a very different story than the one authorities have put forward. And that story demands explanation. Third, where is the surveillance footage? A luxury resort with cameras everywhere. A disputed timeline. A family demanding transparency. And yet no footage has been publicly confirmed as reviewed by anyone outside of authorities in Zanzibar. Where is it? What does it show? Fourth, what happened in those 11 hours? McCann knew something was wrong. He eventually called Ashlee's family. But the incident had already occurred 11 hours earlier. What was happening during those 11 hours? Where was he? What was he doing? Why the delay? Fifth, where is Joe McCann right now? His passport was held. He was questioned. His social media is locked. He has made no statement. Is he still in Tanzania? Has he returned to the United States? Has he spoken to anyone in Ashlee's family? The answers to these questions matter enormously. And sixth, where's the engagement ring? The symbol of a promise made just days before everything fell apart. Missing. Possibly held by investigators. Possibly not. The family does not know. And that uncertainty on top of grief on top of a lack of answers is something no family should have to carry. This is a lot. I know. But this is Ashlee's story. And she deserves every single question to be asked. I also want to say something directly to anyone watching this who might be minimizing these questions. Who might be saying let the investigation play out. Who might be saying we don't know enough to be concerned. You are right that we do not know everything. You are right that investigations take time. But here's what we do know for certain. A 31-year-old woman is dead. She died under circumstances that her own family does not accept as fully explained. The man who was with her has not spoken publicly. The full autopsy results have not been released. The surveillance footage has not been confirmed as reviewed by independent parties. And medical records reportedly show a cause of death that conflicts with the official narrative of suicide. When that many questions stack up around one case, you do not get to ask the grieving family to be patient and quiet. You get to ask those questions loudly, and you get to keep asking them until real answers come. Ashlee's father, Harry Robinson, said it best, and he said it without anger. He said, just do the investigation and let us know. That is not a radical demand. That is a father asking for basic transparency about his daughter's death. And it should not be this hard to get. Now let me address the emotional weight of what this family is living through. Because sometimes in cases like this we get so focused on the facts and the mysteries that we forget there are real human beings inside the story. Harry Robinson flew from New Jersey to Washington, D.C. to stand in front of government officials and plead for help reaching a foreign country's authorities about his daughter. He did that. A father. With nothing but hope and desperation and love. And when he got back home, he still did not have the answers he needed. But he got his daughter back. He got her body home. Without her belongings. Without her ring. Without the full truth. But she is home. Yolanda Endres lost her daughter while she was thousands of miles away. She said her daughter appeared happy. She said they were in a gorgeous place. She trusted. The way parents trust when they believe their child is safe and loved and cared for. And now she is left with questions that no mother should ever have to ask. Savannah Britt, who has been speaking carefully and protectively on behalf of this family, wrote that because the investigation is ongoing, her parents and close circle are not taking interviews at this time. But every update in this case leaves them with more questions than answers. And if that is getting old for those of us watching from the outside, they cannot even imagine how frustrated the family feels living inside it every single day. That is real. That is the cost of silence. That is what happens when the truth is delayed. People grieve without peace. Here is what we know is coming next in this case. The independent autopsy commissioned by Ashlee's family is still pending. Those results, when they come, could either align with or directly contradict the findings from Tanzania. If they contradict the official cause of death, this case could shift in a very significant way. The family's legal options, the potential involvement of U.S. authorities, and the pressure on Tanzanian officials to release their own findings could all escalate very quickly depending on what that independent autopsy reveals. Ashlee's family is also still considering traveling to Tanzania themselves to meet with officials in person. That tells you everything about where they are in this process. They are not waiting for answers to come to them anymore. They are preparing to go get them. The U.S. State Department continues to monitor this case, and public pressure continues to grow. The GoFundMe is past $63,000. The internet is not letting this go. And every update that raises more questions rather than providing answers adds more fuel to the demand for truth. There will be more developments. This case is not settled. It is not closed. It is active and it is moving. And when those developments come, we will be here to break them down for you. So let me bring this back to the beginning. Because I started with a question, and I want to close with one. Ashlee Jenae posted, Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be. She was happy. She was engaged. She was celebrated. She was alive. She was feeding a giraffe on her birthday in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And less than a week later, her family got a call from a hotel telling them she was gone. What happened in those final hours? What happened between that giraffe and that resort closet? What does the surveillance footage show? What will the independent autopsy reveal? What will Joe McCann eventually say if he says anything at all? And will Tanzanian authorities ever release the full findings that they have been sitting on for weeks? These are not rhetorical questions. These are the questions that will determine whether Ashlee Jenae gets justice, whether her family gets peace, whether this story ends with answers or just fades into the noise like too many stories of women who deserve better. I refuse to let that happen. And I know you do too. Say her name. Ashlee Jenae. Ashlee Robinson. Daughter. Friend. Creator. Woman who deserved to come home from her birthday trip with a ring on her finger and a lifetime of happiness ahead of her. Say her name. Share this video. Not for the views. For her. For her parents. For Harry and Yolanda, who are sitting in New Jersey right now, trying to plan their daughter's funeral without the full truth. The more people know this story, the harder it becomes to bury it. And this story cannot be buried. Drop in the comments everything you're thinking. What questions do you have? What do you think happened that night? What do you make of the silence? This is a space for real conversation, and I read every single comment. Subscribe and turn on your notifications because as soon as there are new developments in the Ashlee Jenae case, we will be here covering every detail. This case is ongoing. This fight is not over. And Ashlee's name will not be forgotten. Rest in peace, Ashlee Jenae. Chapter 31 was just the beginning of what should have been a long and beautiful story. And we are not going to stop until we know exactly how it ended. And why. Stay tuned.